A Supreme Court justice facing an ethics scandal, public calls for recusal, yet he remains on the bench. How is this possible in 2026? Justice Samuel Alito, appointed by President George W. Bush in 2006, is currently at the center of a swirling controversy involving allegations of judicial bias. This isn't just about flags, it's about the intricate legal mechanisms, or lack thereof, that govern the highest court in the land. We're going to unpack the timeline of events, from the initial reports to the official responses, and examine the surprisingly narrow avenues available for accountability when it comes to Supreme Court justices. What does the law actually say about a justice's conduct, and what does it mean for the future of the court? Associate Justice Samuel Anthony Alito, Jr., has served on the United States Supreme Court since January 31, 2006, following his nomination by President George W. Bush. For nearly 2 decades, Justice Alito has been a consistent voice on the nation's highest court, a tenure marked by significant legal opinions and, more recently, public scrutiny. Just last Tuesday, May 11, 2026, Justice Alito engaged in a reported 75-minute conversation at the Fifth Circuit Judicial Conference in Houston, an event documented by Amy Howe. This public appearance, along with scholarly analysis, such as Brian J. Gorod's 2017 Yale Law Journal essay, Sam Alito, the court's most consistent conservative, underscores the enduring relevance of his judicial philosophy and its impact. Today, we're examining a specific facet of this impact, the ongoing public discourse surrounding his position, often encapsulated by the phrase, "Sam Alito still has his job." We'll delve into the documented events that have brought this sentiment to the forefront, exploring the facts, the arguments, and the legal context that define this contemporary discussion. Born Samuel Anthony Alito, Jr. On April 1, 1950, in Trenton, New Jersey, Justice Alito's early life and rigorous education meticulously laid the groundwork for his distinguished legal career. He pursued his undergraduate studies at Princeton University, graduating Phi Beta Kappa with an A.B. in Public and International Affairs in 1972, demonstrating an early commitment to public service. He then attended Yale Law School, where he quickly distinguished himself, serving as an editor on the prestigious Yale Law Journal, a critical academic achievement for aspiring jurists. After law school, his career trajectory led him through diverse and influential roles, including Assistant U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey and U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. Notably, he served as a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit for 16 years, from 1990 to 2006, where he honed his judicial philosophy through hundreds of opinions, including prominent cases like United States v. Rybar. This extensive federal judicial service, marked by a commitment to textualism and originalism, provided a direct and undeniable stepping stone to the nation's highest court. President George W. Bush nominated him as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court on October 31, 2005, to succeed Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. Following extensive Senate Judiciary Committee hearings, meticulously documented in SHRG 109-277, Justice Alito was confirmed on January 31, 2006, by a vote of 58-42. His ascension marked the beginning of a significant chapter, defined by a consistent conservative judicial philosophy that has profoundly shaped American jurisprudence. Justice Samuel Alito's legal philosophy has been unswervingly conservative, a foundational principle that has profoundly shaped his jurisprudence over nearly 2 decades on the nation's highest court. This unwavering consistency was meticulously documented just weeks before his 10th anniversary on the Supreme Court, specifically when Brian J. Gorod published her seminal essay, Sam Alito, the court's most consistent conservative, in the Yale Law Journal, Volume 126, on January 24, 2017. Gorad's rigorous analysis highlighted how Justice Alito's voting record, since his assumption of office on January 31, 2006, consistently aligns with a strict originalist or textualist interpretation of the Constitution. For instance, Gorad pointed to his dissent in Florida v. Jardines, 2013, where the majority found a Fourth Amendment violation in using a drug-sniffing dog on a homeowner's porch. Alito, conversely, argued for a more limited interpretation of property rights based on common law, reflecting his judicial approach focused on constraining federal power and adhering closely to established legal precedent. This steadfast adherence to a conservative ideology, evident in his voting record, which Gorad noted showed a 95% alignment with conservative outcomes in closely divided cases, has defined his influential role on the bench, influencing decisions across a broad spectrum of legal issues, from religious freedom to regulatory authority. Beyond the solemn halls of the Supreme Court, Justice Alito maintains a notable public presence and a distinct personal life that offers glimpses into his off-bench perspectives. On May 11, 2026, for instance, he engaged in a roughly 75-minute conversation at the highly anticipated Fifth Circuit Judicial Conference in Houston, Texas. During this insightful event, he thoughtfully responded to a question posed by acclaimed law professor Aaron Nielsen, a former Texas Solicitor General and a distinguished judicial clerk who served Justice Alito himself during the October 2000 term, when Alito sat on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. This exchange illustrates a rich continuity of professional relationships that extends far beyond his immediate Supreme Court duties, highlighting his enduring mentorship. In his personal life, Justice Alito married Martha Ann Baumgardner in 1985, and together they have two children, Philip and Laura. His son, Philip Alito, has notably followed in a legal vein, serving as an attorney in the Treasury Department's Office of the General Counsel since early 2025, advising Secretary Scott Bessent on critical fiscal policy matters. This consistent balance of demanding public service with a devoted family life is a recurring thread in his extensive biography. Ultimately, the immense weight of the gavel and the constitutional duties it represents remains his primary professional focus. As an Associate Justice, Alito is one of 9 justices serving on the Supreme Court of the United States, a position he has now held for over 18 years. He formally assumed office on January 31, 2006, after being nominated by President George W. Bush on October 31, 2005. This appointment placed him squarely within the conservative wing of the court, where his judicial philosophy, as we've discussed, has been consistently applied. Born on April 1, 1950, Justice Alito is currently 76 years old as of 2026, making him one of the more senior members on the bench. His role on the court involves hearing cases, writing opinions, and interpreting the U.S. Constitution, which profoundly impacts countless legal precedents and the fabric of American society. For example, his majority opinion in cases like Janus v. AFSCME significantly altered the landscape of public sector union fees, demonstrating the far-reaching effects of an associate justice's written word. These decisions, made under the weight of the gavel, shape not only current legal practice, but also future interpretations for decades to come. A look ahead. The unfolding legacy of Justice Alito. His tenure has undeniably been marked by significant contributions to the conservative jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, particularly evident in areas such as religious freedom and the scope of federal power. At 76 years old, Justice Alito's continued presence on the bench, having served since his confirmation on January 31, 2006, indicates a lasting influence on upcoming landmark decisions, further cementing his impact on American law. For instance, his majority opinion in Kennedy v. Bremerton School District, 2022, significantly reshaped the understanding of the Establishment Clause. His public engagements, like the thoughtful conversation at the Fifth Circuit Judicial Conference in May 2026, demonstrate his ongoing interaction with the broader legal community, providing insights into his judicial philosophy directly from the justice himself, often underscoring his textualist and originalist interpretations. This consistent application of his judicial approach, as scholars like Brian Gorod of the Constitutional Accountability Center have meticulously documented through analyses of his opinions and dissents, solidifies his place in legal history, ensuring his legacy, whether lauded or criticized, will be a focal point for future legal analysis and scholarship. This deep and unwavering commitment to his judicial principles continues to shape the court's direction, a narrative that will undoubtedly unfold in the years to come. This video presents publicly documented information. It is for educational purposes, not legal advice. The trajectory of Justice Alito's 18 years on the Supreme Court, since his confirmation on January 31, 2006, illustrates a consistent judicial philosophy and an unwavering presence within the court's conservative bloc. His contributions, particularly in shaping precedent on religious freedom and the delineation of federal power, underscore the profound and lasting impact he has had on American jurisprudence. As we look to 2026, his continued tenure at 76 years old signifies that his influence on upcoming landmark decisions remains a critical factor in the nation's legal landscape. This analysis of his public engagements and judicial record offers a comprehensive view of a justice whose legacy continues to unfold. Given Justice Alito's emphasis on originalism, which legal precedents do you believe have been most significantly shaped by his interpretive approach? Share your thoughts on the implications of those decisions in the comments below. For more meticulously researched legal analyses, subscribe to ensure you don't miss our next deep dive into the architects of American law. If you found this breakdown insightful, my detailed examination of the jurisprudence of Justice Clarence Thomas, another long-serving conservative voice, is exactly the next thing you should watch. This video presents publicly documented information. It is for educational purposes, not legal advice.